So last time we talked about charity, then we have a few quotes from the book by the author. And here is kindness is a language which the deaf can hear and the blind can read. The idea which have lighted my way, and time after time, we have given me new courage to face life cheerfully, have been kindness, beauty, and the truth. So everybody can be kind to the other people, and that actually bring yourself happy and joy, also bring other people happiness and joy. So the last week while we served in the Sunday school, and I heard that Pastor Lee told a very, very good story. I'd like to, Pastor Lee, spend some time, please tell us that story in more detail about your certification interview for the anesthesiologist. That's a very, 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 very good story. Pastor Lee, are you there?
You want me to tell the story?
Oh, yeah. In as much detail as possible, all the conversation. I think it's so much fun there.
Okay. All right. Being showing kindness is it is something that you and I practice, and because there are always times that when people bother you, or you feel like that you're short on you're high on your temper, short on patience, and so practice kindness is something that also, though I admit that I'm learning, and and I always believe that people would say that practice random kindness, and but you want to practice kindness consistently. And so about 30 years ago, and for my career as an anesthesiologist, my final exam is what we call an oral interview, and that is probably one of the toughest, because I would be faced in a room with two top doctors in my field or in their specialties, and then they would give me two questions, and I'm supposed to answer them. And it's not just regurgitation of your facts, but it's they want to know how you practice, and what you would do. So and everybody dread this final, what we call the oral interview. And so at that time, already in practice for almost 5-6 years, and then I had to do this. And I flew to Boston Intercontinental, 11th floor, and then I check in early, and then I had a meal, and then I sat in my room, and with the window of the bay, but I didn't know I wasn't there to watch the night view. But then, so I sat in the room and turned the lights off, and so I meditate, and I just let everything that I learned and just kind of flow through my mind. And so I was in the cosmos of anesthesia, everything I have learned. And then 8:30, the phone rang, and that in those days that you have the room phone, and somebody shouted and said, "Jeff," and I said, "Yeah," and who is this? I said, it's obviously somebody who is older, and who assumed that I should have known that his voice. And so and I said, "Well, this is Jeff for sure, but who are you?" And the person on the other end got annoyed, and he says, "No, this is your dad." And I said, "Don't you know it's me, your dad?" And I said, "Well," and I muttered to myself, and it says, yeah, yeah, you're my dad. I know my dad's voice. And so I says, I'm not Jeff and I'm not your son. So I hung up the phone. And so, but my train of thoughts was already disrupted. Now I know it's kind of getting annoyed because that's what I've been, I check into the hotel and then that's what I want to do. And then another 15 minutes later, and then the phone rang again. And then it says, Jeff, this is your father. And I said, oh, well, no. I said, I'm not your son. And so I politely hung up the phone again. And another 10, 15 minutes, another phone call come in and said exactly the same thing. And then I finally said, please, I'm not your son. You got the wrong number. And he says, no. And he says, this is intercontinental. And no, yes, yes. And I said, yes, but I'm not your son. And so all the way to 9:30, so it's about 5, 6 phone calls later. I was about to say, stop it, you old fool. No, I was about to say, stop bothering me. Get off the phone. But I says, I'm sorry, sir, that I am not your son. I think you got wrong numbers. But and then he says, well, but they said that no, this is Jeff Lee's room. So I said, no, I'm sorry. But I decided to take the phone off the hook. And and the next day, well, I didn't get to think about what I want to do, just meditate on everything. So I went to bed, and then the second day we all sat there and then waiting to be introduced to the room. And so everybody was very anxious. And so I went in there and then I was pointed, that this is down the corridor and room for whatever. And so I went and knocked on the door. And the guy who greeted me and had a name tag, Dr. Jeffrey Lee, Stanford University. And I said, oh, well, and I said, that must be your dad who was calling me. And he says, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that my dad, was trying to, he must have bother you. I said, oh, no, that's fine. And but he kept on apologizing. And I said, no, that's okay. He was a sweet man. And I have a father too. And then but it's hard to convince somebody who wants to be your father, but it's and so we sat down, and he says, well, you know what? Let's not talk about anesthesia, about my practice. He says, why don't you tell me about what kind of Chinese food you like? And I already know the how you handle stress and how you handle the unusual things. And I says, whoa, really? Oh, and so the whole 45 minutes, that's all we talked about. He and the others, and we were just talking about family and then particularly Chinese food. And when I walk out of there, I mean, I called my wife. I said, I couldn't believe I prepared all this 3 years, and then because I did not get angry, and so I had a wonderful story, and then saved me from one of the people say, oh, that was they always had a terrible the interview or the examining process, and I just told them, you have to watch and practice kindness, because you don't know how, and you always bring fruits, and that fruit will be surprise. And so I share that with you, and you may think that you know other people deserve kindness, but you practice random kindness and you never know. Yeah, it it will warm somebody's heart, but you never know what kind of result that you would have. And that would be wonderful. Okay.
Praise the Lord. This is one of the most amazing story I've heard about it. You know, it's overall, basically, I think God is in every minute of our lives. So I think God trying to give the Pastor Lee a test, and definitely Pastor Lee passed the test with a beautiful, result there. And overall, it's just your character cannot be hidden, and your character just always show in your daily behavior and your language. And that's why in the Bible say, don't ever say any bad words. Always say something good to build up people. Don't ever say those unwholesome words. Always say some good words to build up people. And then the patience is one of the spiritual fruits. Think about it. Pastor Lee get mad and start cussing at this old gentleman. Then what would happen? The old gentleman would tell his son, say, wow, this guy is bad and vicious. Guess what happened? I don't know what's going to be the result of the interview examination, but it's not going to be good. And everybody going to be embarrassing. And if a pastor Lee also say, oh, I'm a Christian. They say, oh yeah, you're a Christian. You're cussing at the people. So this is one of the extreme tests. But however, Pastor Lee handled it with his character, with his life. I think that's very important. So if you keep this in your mind, you don't know when God's going to give you a test, but I hope you don't fail it. You're always kind to the people. And this is so important. This is one of the most amazing and impressive story I've ever heard. It's great. And then the other story I tell you is also it's a true story. It's one of the brothers, not from our church, but in our area. He and his wife have been holding a worship, a small church, we call it a house church, in their house for the student from UTD, University of Texas at Dallas, like a 15, 20 student for many years. Because they have to serve them, and then they have to wait on them, sometimes bring the water, bring the snack to help them enjoy the environment more. And so the daughter of the brothers always do all this work, do all the chores. So I think at the high school or in the college, and his daughter, Jenny, went for interview of a job. Then, of course, a lot of people sitting there waiting for the manager to come to call one by one. And then this guy coming out, a gentleman come out with a tray of the cups and the water, trying to help the people, to serve the people. And she immediately, because it's her habit, and nice to people, serve people, she immediately stand up and pick up the tray. So I can handle it, don't worry about it. And then she starts serving everybody. Then because she had to spend time serving everybody, she ended up with the last one sitting in the waiting list to be interviewed. So one after another is gone. And then the secretary called her and said, okay, it's your turn. She walked in. Actually, the gentleman who's the manager in charge of the interview was exactly the gentleman who walked into the waiting room and served everybody the tea. Then gentleman saw her say, okay, it's the same result, just like Pastor Lee. There's no need to interview. You're a good person. You're hired. Okay. So character with charity based on kindness is one of the most important foundation for you to be successful in the future. So if you don't have the character, you don't have the charity, you cannot be kind to the people, then nobody want to work with you. Actually, this society really help you to fail as early as possible, because you're not going to help the people. You're going to help yourself. You're going to make people mad. You're going to make this world worse, not better. So character with charity and kindness is a very important foundation God gave to us. And Jesus teaches us to do it. And Holy Spirit inside of us is helping us to accomplish that every day. And these two stories, I hope you can remember forever. You cannot pretend, okay, when the test God gave to us is so stressful, so urgent, and it's a time you show your character. If you start getting panic, you get mad, you start shouting at the people, then the people around us will say, whoa, look at that Christian. What he is doing. I don't want to be Christian if Christians are like that. And then we bring shame to God and we bring shame to ourselves. So character, kindness, charity is very important. Always, always remember that. So today I'm going to share with you two stories of the young people accomplished big in the charity work. Well, before that, let me tell you one story first. I think this is a quote from Billy Graham. Hold on, I'm sorry. So Billy Graham, write down this, to a woman who wrote me of the boredom that came into her life when her children were grown and gone from home. Now I replied, Billy Graham replied, in the past, your immediate family needed most of your time and strength. Now you can extend the range of your love. There are children in your neighborhood who need understanding and friendship. There are aged people near you who are starved for companionship. Blind people who cannot even enjoy the television you find so boring. So why not get out and find the joy of helping others? The true joy always comes from helping the others, loving the others. Weeks later, she wrote again, I tried your prescription. It works. I've walked from night into day. A lot of people have like depression, anxiety. It's all because they put the focus on themselves instead of the focus on other people. If you put the focus on other people and you make sure your life doesn't take to the extreme tension, and you should have a lot of joy. And then let me share with the two stories. The first thing I think you probably, if you read Everyday Greatness, you probably already read this story. The lady graduated from University of Michigan, have good GPA, can find a job easily anywhere else, a volunteer to teach in the underprivileged elementary school or underserved kids in the big metropolitan area. So she was teaching fourth grader. She found a fourth grade student, Romel, does not know how to read. Well, he's good at animation drawing. He was also very good at listening and grasp the essence of the story teacher read for them. So he can think, he can analyze. He's actually pretty smart, but he cannot read. We don't know whatever the reason. Until fourth grader, he cannot read. Of course, many teachers have given up on him because otherwise he would have already read. But this teacher is not going to give up on him. So she decided, okay, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to spend a lot of time with you because I cannot see one student doesn't know how to read, but he's smart. And I don't want to see his career, his future get hurt by being illiterate. So she volunteers, spend 9 hours every week to handheld Romel to learn how to read. Just a few months, Romel has improved astoundingly. One person with enduring love changed another person's future. So Romel eventually will contribute to the society in a lot more significant way. And so this teacher is like a hero. And this is why we call it everyday greatness. He had the patience, and he had the goal, and he had the love, and he wanted to do whatever is good for the people. And he sacrificed her own time. She sacrificed her own time. At nighttime, she had to work in the restaurant. Okay, and daytime she teach because usually if you teach in a big metropolitan area, you don't get much salary. So she had to find another job. But then she also teach the 9 hours each week without a pay. It's all volunteer. But guess what? She did get big compensation from God because she got a lot of joy, and she knows she win the pleasure of God. She knows she act like a Jesus disciple. Of course, she would know when she go to heaven, God will pat on her back, say, "Hey, good job. You changed our Mel's life." But why did she she volunteered to teach in underprivileged elementary school if she can find a good job in big bank, good job in big company? The reason is there's an organization called Teach for America, TFA, Teach for America. And this is a lady called Wendy Cobb. She founded Teach for America. When she was studying at Princeton University, of course, very smart student. Princeton University, she had a project of Teach America, Teach for America. She had ideas, say, why don't we find the best student from the best school and send them to a poor area, metropolitan area, mid-city, and tell them to teach all those undeserved and underserved students. And everybody laughed at her idea. And she just an undergraduate. But she didn't give up. She said, because I heard her speech during my younger daughter's commencement ceremony. She went to the WashU at St. Louis and gave that speech. She said when she was young, her father always told her, say, you can do anything if you just want to, make a decision to. And she said, hey, I'm naive enough to believe that it's true. So they're an undergraduate. After graduate, she decided, I want to form this Teach for America organization. Of course, need a lot of money. And because you have to educate, you have to train, you have to recruit. It's a big organization work. So she started going to all the entrepreneurs, all the successful businessmen, ask for money. At 22 years old, just freshly graduated from college, without a salary, without pay, she wanted to start this organization called Teach for America. So she started recruiting the student from Ivy League and all the good GPA students, and then later go to the good public school. So she formed this Teach for America. She actually went to the Dallas tycoon, okay, called Ross Perot. She actually asked for Ross Perot for the funding. Ross Perot said, I will give you $500,000 if you can find another $500,000. Once she had the endorsement from Ross Perot, the job is pretty much done. So she started going around and say, hey, Ross Perot already promised to match whoever put $1 in there up to the $500,000. So she got this $1 million seed money, and she started forming this Teach for America. So Teach for America was founded by Wendy Cobb. I'm sorry. In 1989, she graduated from Princeton University. A member of the funding team, they have a few funding team. Okay, that's all good people, like a investor, like a commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service, and the president and CEO of Knowledge is Power. So a lot of good people love this idea. So they help her. The Teach for America is a nonprofit organization. The state mission is to enlist, develop, and mobilize as many as possible, our nation's most promising future leader, to grow and strengthen the movement for educational equity and excellence. So those smart people from Ivy League, from good university, they're going to be the leader. So in order to be a leader, you got to have a character. You got to serve the underprivileged one. You got to serve the underserved people. So it's very good beginning for those people to start their career. Actually, if you graduate from all the school, and if you join the effort 2 or 4 years in Teach for America, then you want to find a job, almost everybody can land a job immediately because if they know you're from Teach for America, they know you're a good person. You're willing to serve people. You're willing to help this country get better, or even help this world get better. So they actually have another organization now called the Teach for Globe, I guess, Teach for TFG or something for all the country. Okay. So this is how powerful Teach for America is now today. So in the future, after you graduate from college, you can think about it. I think it's very good training and the foundation for you in the future to be extremely successful in your career. It's not about making money. It's not about you don't have talent or you do. It's about you have a character. You like to serve people. You like to bring glory to God by help other people succeed at your own precious ownership or something like that. You have to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice to help others. So the organization aims to accomplish this by recruiting and selecting college graduates from top universities around the United States to serve as teachers. The selected member, known as corp members, commit to teaching for at least 2 years in a public or public charter K-12 school in one of the 52 low-income community that the organization serves. You have to go to like Detroit, Dallas, Baltimore, Maryland, all this big city and slum area, and the school in that area, of course, is not as good, and not many teachers willing to go. But Teach for America only send their core member to those areas. So since the first corp was established in 1990, more than 42,000 corp members have completed their commitment to Teach for America. Can you believe it? 42,000 smart young leaders must have helped millions of students get better. This is only 2015. I think today probably close to 80, 90,000. The organization reached a milestone of 50,000 core members and alumni who have collectively taught more than 5 million students across the nation. So those 5 million students can learn from the most promising future leader in the United States. I think it's a win-win situation. So all the core members getting more mature, and all the students get better and have good role model. As of early 2015, Teach for America reported 88% of first-year teachers returned for second year. That's a lot because teaching is a very stressful job. And you gotta have the passion to help the young kids. So 88% return rate is very good. The organization also reported more than 11,000, it's more than 37,000 alumni. We're still teaching. Can you imagine? 30%. They can find a better job in all the big company, big organization, but they chose to stay teaching. And 65% of its alumni were working full-time in education. Additionally, the organization reported 84% of its alumni were working full-time in roles impacting education in low-income community. See, once they learn, so many people need help. And once God touched their heart, they want to continue to serve those underserved people. So this is what amazing story. Another study by Mathematica, they found that the students of Teach for America, even they're not professional teacher, they do went through the good training, okay? In 8 states, learned 2.6 more months of secondary math compared with students taught by non-TFA teachers. So this is some statistics say, as long as you have a passion and you're smart and you're willing to serve people, you can do a good job. This Teach for America. So look at that. In 2010, they have record-breaking 46,000 applications. And the mission was more selective than ever. Acceptance rate of 13%. All the smart students from the good university, only 13% can be selected as Teach for America. That's why those companies will hire you once you had experience with Teach for America. Okay, and they recruit from 350 college campuses, seeking top graduates from all academic majors and backgrounds who have demonstrated outstanding achievement, perseverance, this is very important, no? Perseverance, this is very important. Leadership. And more than 120 colleges and university, over 5% of the senior class apply. That's a lot of students, 5% of the good one apply, including 12%. The senior at Ivy League school, 12% of the Ivy League seniors actually apply for it. This is how beautiful about this country is. They're good people, they're students, they might all come from, a lot of them come from rich family, and they can have a good career, make a lot of money, but 12% of them choose to apply for this. And 7% of the graduation class, University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. And 6% University of California, Berkeley, UC Berkeley. It's why I love this country so much. They're not all about chasing the money. A lot of them have this kind of passion to serve people. And Teach for America is one of the best organizations. So this exceptional qualified applicant pool allowed Teach for America to increase not only the size of incoming corps, but also the caliber. Incoming corps members, average GPA is 3.6. In the Ivy League, you want to get GPA 3.6, that is very good. So when you say average, that means some GPA is 4.0, and they all like to apply for Teach for America. And 89% held a significant leadership position, I mean they're the chairman, chairperson of all the different kind of organization, university. So 14% of the professionals who completed several years of full-time work before applying to Teach for America. Some people even already did other professional work when they come to Teach for America. So this is so amazing. Well, I think I probably only have time for this one story, but I like to probably have Pastor Lee do some comment about this story, then we can wrap up this session.
I do have a big comment about the Teach for America, because we sent our son to Dallas to a private school to study aeronautical engineering. And he even got as far as master's degree. And then yet to our surprise, maybe dismay for Chinese parents, and we said, we spend that kind of money and we expected you, and he says, I'm not going to work on things that fly out of orbit, go into space like a rocket. And he went in to Teach for America in Dallas, one of the poorest, roughest in the city high school. And
Awesome.
he teaches math. Yeah. So, and he's been doing that for 6 years now.
Oh, so he's one of those stay teaching.
Yes. Yeah.
Praise the Lord.
He's one of the now who stay and continue to teach. Well,
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. What a coincidence. Yeah.
yeah. So there
Who did
used
he
to
go
be,
to school?
huh?
Who did he go to your college?
Um, uh, what do you call SMU?
Oh, he went to SMU. Okay, right, Dallas.
Yeah,
It's a
right.
private school. Yeah. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Think about how many students benefit from his teaching. Okay,
Well,
this is amazing.
no, I mean he also tell us some of the negative things that he also said that he spent a lot of time, yet student dropped out because of
Mhm.
teen pregnancy,
Uh-huh.
drug, gunshot, and then commit crimes and have been put in jail in a juvie. So, um, but and so we asked him, and it says, why? I mean, why do you keep at it? We thought that he would do it for a couple of years and then get burned out, and but yeah, but that's what he does.